It's the first of two really big games, you feel, for West Ham and June Lopetegui in particular, with pressure beginning to mount on the head coach. As we go into the next international break, of course, another international break. Don't we just love those breaks? But it's weird because it kind of makes the little chunks, doesn't it, the season? And you kind of feel like the first period wasn't so great, it was okay. The second period of the season hasn't looked too good. And the pressure's mounting on Lopetegui. He needs to start getting points on the board now. Can't continue to lose heavily and keep leaning on the fact it's early on, it's early days and stuff. I feel like that's now coming to an end. Talked about in a video yesterday in regards to the club, sending out a bit of a message about Lopetegui, effectively saying, look, things aren't good enough. They need to improve. It's not great, these messages, I don't think, from the club. We don't, this early on, I just don't want it. I don't want to be having these conversations, really. It's not ideal. But we are where we are. And where we are is that we're playing a Brentford side away from home and we need to get a result one way or another. West Ham have to roll their sleeves up there and get stuck in because this is going to be a tough game, as they all are. But let's get it right. It's a game that we can win. The Brentford away is a game West Ham can go and get 3 points at, and that's got to be the aim here. It's got to be West Ham need a lift. We all need it. It's been a tough start to the season, which, as I've said in the previous video, I expected it to be the case. Don't want this to keep building and growing into something because it feels like it already is, with the media and whatnot, this feeling of unrest and uncertainty surrounding the long-term future of Lopetegui. Just not what we need. We just close a chapter now on David Moyes and all that kind of stuff and that negativity and uncertainty. We don't want to start going down that path immediately. So really, want to avoid that at all costs. And this is a big game. Let's talk about Brentford, though, like we usually do. First of all, I mean, really remarkable club, really, how well they've done, the model they've put together and stuck to, and the fact they've executed it perfectly is brilliant, really. I can't help but admire them as a football club. I mean, I've come from very low leagues and worked their way up, and they've got their new, the ground they've built. I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest. I've been there a couple of times. It's not the greatest, but that being said, it's perfect for them at the moment, and you can see there's a plan in place. You know what I mean with Brentford? They've got it right, and they came up not too long ago, and you would have thought, they're going to struggle. They just seem to be a really settled Premier League side now. They've done really, really well. I've been so impressed with them, and you can't help but admire Brentford, and feel that, considering when you look at other clubs that have come up, gone down, and really struggled to maintain it, Brentford have just got it right. They just seem to have got their plans dead on in terms of their manager recruitments, their player recruitment, the way that they've financed the club, the way they've spent money, retained, and then they've built the stadium. They've just done so well. They really are an impressive football club. And, but if you're a neutral fan, they're always one that you kind of look at and admire. They really are. They're a really good club. I'm really impressed with them, and very impressed with their manager as well, Thomas Frank. I mean, they're not the most exciting on the eye, Brentford, but they're kind of pragmatic. But I admire that as well at times. David Moyes, of course, was not as similar in some regards, but not quite as obviously David Moyes is a little bit more extreme in some cases. But you can see what he's trying to do, Thomas Frank. He's a clever tactician and likes to kind of keep things. He wants to win games. He'll do it any way he can to get a result. So I just think they've done really well. He's an impressive manager, an impressive football club, and they've been through a lot of change. Obviously, recently they've sold Ivan Toney, a big player for them. Again, like how they handled that whole situation, I thought was brilliant. They stood by the player during the whole betting stuff when he was banned. Was it 9 months? I think he was banned for. Stood by him, welcomed him back. They made it very clear they were going to sell him. They publicly were saying it. The player wanted to go. They've handled that really well. He's moved on now, to Saudi, which is up to him. I personally didn't really understand it at this stage. I thought he was too good for that. I think he should have stayed in the Premier League longer, personally, or maybe gone somewhere else in Europe and been competing more for his England spot. But look, it's up to him, of course, and good luck to the guy. He's obviously earning a lot more money than he was at Brentford. But but again, I like the way Brentford handled it. They replaced him, got his replacement early. They're a good side. They really are a good club and well-oiled machine. And I've got nothing but respect for them, really. In terms of team news for today, what Visa is missing, which is a big boost for West Ham. Absolutely, such a vital player for Brentford. But they've still got some decent players, haven't they? They really have. And Bremo, obviously, a a dangerous player for them. We're going to have a busy afternoon in terms of their midfield, I think, as well. They're a well-oiled machine, Brentford, but they're not a side that you look at and think, well, they're impossible to beat. I think if you're on your day, if you can compete with them, and you've got to roll your sleeves up for these sort of games. I think it's going to be tough. You know what I mean? They're going to get stuck in. They're going to make you work for it, make you fight for it. And it's not been a good ground for us going there. So we're going to need to step it up big time if we're going to get a result. It's on to West Ham though. Look, the pressure's on Lopetegui. We know that. Big pressure. This is a big game. This is one of them games, as I said, that before the international break, we've got this, then Ipswich. Got to start getting some points on the ball. We've got to start lifting the mood and getting the belief into this season, because it's falling away quite quickly. I mean, football's very fickle. It changes very fast. A couple of good results, and you feel like you're going to win the league. You lose a couple, you feel like you're getting relegated. It can, we, especially being West Ham, we know that. We know how quick things can change. But we need that change now. Do you know what I mean? It feels like we are in desperate need for it. A poor performance, even if we get a point, but play badly, you know what I mean, and get a grind out of 0-0. It's not what we need. We need a good performance. We see these players go out, show some hunger, desire, and go and get the result. It's a big one for Lopetegui. Cannot afford to be losing, although it's not ideal. I mean, Brentford's a tough place to go, and they're a good home side, and well organised, I'll say, and they're going to look to bully West Ham. They really are. They're going to make life very hard for us. So we've got to be up for it. We've got to be up for that kind of physical battle in this game. And Lopetegui will be well aware of this, is that the pressure's on. He will have to. He knows he needs a result. This is just a real big game for him. In terms of team news for us, obviously, Edson Alvarez is suspended following his red card against Liverpool. Really not what we needed at all. Again, like I say about in the previous video about players letting down, I felt Lopetegui a little bit this season. Talked about Kudus and Paqueta. I felt that I've just not stepped up to the plate at all yet this season. But things like that of Alvarez, it's just not helping. This is just not ideal now. We've got to go to a tough away Premier League fixture without a key midfielder and a defensive midfielder. It's not what we need. So it's made life very difficult for us. However, the good news is that Niclas Fullkrug should be returning to the side. I'm expecting him to start, to be honest. He was very close to returning against Liverpool. I felt that they probably felt that we'll save him for the Brentford game to keep him getting fitter, and obviously as he recovers from his ankle injury that he sustained while away with Germany. Pressure's also on for the defending, I think, for this game. We're leaking goals left, right and centre. Conceded 3 against Chelsea, 5 against Liverpool. We've got to get this sorted out. Really need to start seeing a sort of just a solid Premier League performance from West Ham. I'm not expecting anything spectacular. I'm not expecting us to blow Brentford away and just play like Man City and play for the pitch. Just put in a solid performance and go and get a result. That's all we need. I think we need something just to lift the spirits and just give that belief into this campaign that we can actually go on and achieve what we want to achieve, which of course is European football next season. Of course, that just feels like miles away, doesn't it, at the moment? But again, I think we just need to remember it's still early. I know I've contradicted myself. I've said that a few times, about regarding being too early and when does that excuse run out? But we need to sort of keep ourselves level-headed a little bit. But these are big games. They get it right. Games 6 and 7 are massive for West Ham. Got to get it right. And this is a big one. So, as I say, defending needs to improve. And this is the team I'm going to go for. I'd like to know yours, see what you think. I've kind of thrown a few out there here, and it's because of the Alvarez situation. It's going to have to, I've had to sort of be a little bit bold, I think, with this one. But this is what I would go for, right? This is what I'd like to see Lopetegui put out. So I'm going to put Areola in goal. I've not been impressed with Areola much this season, to be honest. I'm still not sold on him. I know people will slate me on this and say, I'm just not. I know he's a good shot stopper at times. He does pull off the odd side, but he also makes some real poor decisions, I think. A couple of goals against Chelsea, I think, weren't very great. Good goalkeeper. I'm just not been sold on him yet for me as a first-team keeper. I'm still not quite there. But regardless of that, he starts in goal for us in this game. Wan-Bissaka, of course, at right-back. Excellent. I've been really pleased with him so far. We need a big performance from him, of course, in this game. Todibo and Kilman, for me, the back two. I want to see that partnership more. I actually thought that Todibo did all right against Liverpool, and I want to see this grow. I don't trust Mavropanos. He's fine as a backup. He's fine to come in if we need him. I don't want to see him as a main defender for us. I think he's got a mistake in him every game. And I felt that, again, particularly against Chelsea, I'm just not impressed with his attitude at times, this jogging back and stuff. I'm just not not sold at all on him at the moment, especially not as a first team player. So I don't want to see it anymore. I want to see Todibo start this game with Kilman and Emerson at left back. Right, midfield. I mean, this is a tricky one now because of where we are at the moment with no Edson Alvarez, which is a big blow to us. So I'm going to go for a defensive duo that are going to play relatively defensive, a midfield duo here. They're going to play quite defensive for me, which is going to be Rodriguez and Alan Irving. I actually think Irving's looked all right. I've been called upon. I just feel like he might be what we need in this game. Bit of muscle, bit of toughness in there. I was tempted to put Souček in, and I get a feeling that's probably what will happen. But I actually think Irving's looks all right, and I'd be interested to see how we would pair against with Rodriguez in that game. Rodriguez as well got a bit of bite about him. Obviously, I'm just saying to him, just sit deep and protect the defence here. We've got to stop conceding goals. That is just the most vital thing. We cannot keep going behind. I feel like we go behind so early in games as well. Like, we've just got to stop that. Get a hold of these games early on. So yeah, that's my midfield two is Rodriguez and Irving. So the way I'm doing it is I'm going to do my wingers first. So right wing, I'm going to put Bowen and Somerville out on the left. I'm then having Mohamed Kudus play in a more central role behind the striker, but he's also going to be joining him, and the striker will be Niclas Fullkrug. I'm dropping Lucas Paqueta. I think he's just been really poor this season so far. I've just not been impressed with him at all. I understand he's got a lot going on at the moment with this betting stuff. So that's not helping. The allegation stuff flying around. It's just not helping him. But he's not the right player, and he gives the ball away far too often. And sometimes you just need to drop these sort of players and just say, look, you need to get your head right. It's not been good enough. I know that he's one of those players that can create something out of nothing. So that's what frightens me about leaving him out at times. So I always think, but he might do something amazing. But I've just not seen enough of it this season to warrant him starting. So just to confirm then, I'm going to go Areola, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Todibo, Kilman and Emerson at the back, Rodriguez and Irving in the middle, Bowen out on the right, Somerville on the left, Kudus playing through the middle, and he'll also be effectively joining as a striker, but dropping back when he needs to, Niclas Fullkrug up front. I don't think we're going to win this game, if I'm being honest. I really bloody hope we do. Of course I do, but I really, really want us to. We so need a big lift in this club at the moment. It's been a real crappy start to the season, so we want to get rid of that as fast as possible. But I don't think we're going to win it. I think it's going to be a draw, and I think that's probably at best we're going to get out of here. So I'm going to say 1-1 in this one. But I'd like to know what you think. I'd like to know what your thoughts are. I hope they're a bit more confident than me because, it's hard to be confident, isn't it? It's not easy. At the moment, it is not easy to be confident about West Ham. I'm certainly struggling with it, but that's not to say we won't get anything. But my word, this is a bloody big game for Lopetegui. Come on, you Irons.